Hey guys, it's Asian Homie 101. Welcome back to my channel. So today I will be showing you what my favorite brushes are. So I have one stack here and one stack here, and this stack is basically the essentials brush, basically brushes that I feel like everyone should need, and even basically the beginners, what the beginners really should need. These are for like an extra oomph, as in like maybe like some specific techniques you want to use, specific types of looks you want to create. This is something that I think you would grab. First things first, I want to address something that you may or may not have noticed. I am in a new setting, currently in my sister's room, because the room my mom's bathroom is where I usually film nowadays. That's only working in the morning, so that only works from like the window between 9 to like 11:30. Otherwise the lighting would be completely awful. So I tried doing it here, and the lighting looks really good. So I just want you guys to please let me know what you think of the lighting. Whenever if you guys get a chance, even if you don't comment, just have a YouTube account, just please tweet me, Instagram me, whatever message you can get across. Just let me know what do you think of the lighting right now. And I think the lighting is pretty good, from what I can tell from my viewfinder, that is. But I really would like to hear from you guys about that, because I need feedback on whether or not this is a viable place to film in the afternoon. So it's about currently, I want to say 1:30, 2 o'clock now. And so yeah, back to the video. I'm showcasing the brushes. So the first brush that I've always raved on, most of these brushes are pretty popular, but I just want to give you my opinion on what brushes I think are brushes that everyone should have in their collection. And most of these brushes are pretty affordable to begin with. There's only 2 brushes here that are high-end, and those are MAC brushes. But you can still get MAC brushes, and I'm pretty sure there are dupes for these brushes somewhere. Okay, so the first brush I have here to show you is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. This is a perfect brush for liquid foundation. I find that it is very dense, and it works wonderfully to buff in liquid foundation. This density is not it doesn't make it easy to blend, let's say, powder foundation as well, but it does the job, of course, as well. But I have another brush that I favor for powder foundation a lot more. Only downside is because of its density, it's really difficult to clean. I have found that the Dr. Bronner soap has given me the best results so far for cleaning. Otherwise, you will probably only get maybe like 80 to 90% of this brush clean, unfortunately. So that's the only biggest downside about this brush. But so you can get Real Techniques brushes at Ulta, for sure, and of course online, but I think they're expanding to like Rite Aid and Walmart now, and Target, which is insane. Real Techniques can be, you can get Real Techniques everywhere nowadays. And the next brush I have to show you here is the Real Techniques buffing brush. This is a perfect brush for powder foundation. I love to use this for both regular pressed powder and mineral powder. This brush isn't as dense as the Expert Face Brush, but this brush is still, I'm still gonna say it's made of the same material. I believe it's Taclon, the synthetic fibers, and this really does a wonderful job in blending in powders. I find that this is the greatest for liquid foundation. If I'm in a pinch, I can use this, but this gives me streaks and when I use liquid foundations. But I highly recommend this for powder foundations if you're into powder foundations. Only thing is this, you have to buy this in a set. I don't think you can get this individually, but most of the brushes in this set I will be recommending. So honestly, I think all three, or is it 4 now? 4, I believe it's 4 Real Techniques brush sets are fantastic. I only have 3 of them. I don't have the synthetic, the white set. But all 3 of the sets I have, the orange set, the travel set, and the purple set, the face and the eye set, are fantastic. I really recommend you to get those sets. Those are great beginner sets. For general, for blush and bronzer, and for general powder, this is a fantastic brush to have. This is the e.l.f. Complexion brush. This is a $3 brush from the e.l.f. line. I have reviewed all the e.l.f. brushes on my website, my blog, which I'll link down below. And I'd say this is probably one of the most multitasking brushes I have in my collection. You could do powder foundation with this, but I prefer using this for setting powder. I also prefer using this for blush and bronzer, overall bronzer, not contouring rather, because this is a little bit too, not tapered enough per se, but if you pinch it, you can get a good taper out of it, and you can bust it underneath your cheekbone. What am I saying? But yeah, love this brush. It has gotten so much use out of it. I haven't had a lot of issues with the the elf ferrules on the black ones, but the white the studio line, the black the ferrule falling out. But I have a little bit of issues with the elf essence ferrule falling out though, in case if any of you guys were wondering about that. But I think this, for a blush brush, I honestly think that this is the best blush brush I have by far. The Real Techniques blush brush is too big for me. The Eco Tools blush brush somehow doesn't diffuse blush properly on me. It gives me streaks. A lot of blush brushes, I guess, miss my cheeks for some reason. Like, I don't know, like it gives, like, I get really splotchy blush, splotchy blush application, but this gives me the best flawless blush application out there. And it's only $3. And this is such a multitasker. So it's fantastic to have. For eyes, these are the three I feel like everyone really needs. First off, it's a flat shader brush, and even then, flat shader brushes are kind of a thing where it's, if you want a brush, you can use a flat shader brush. If you don't want a brush, you can still use those sponge tip applicators. Those are also pretty good for packing on color. But I prefer the e.l.f. Studio Eyeshadow C brush to pack on color. This packs on eyeshadows the best out of all the brushes I have currently so far. These this does both powder and pigments, powder, eyeshadows, and pigments very well. I have not had an issue with it's not like I don't have to work too hard to use this brush to pack on eyeshadows. Definitely recommend this brush. Next, of course, is the coveted MAC 217 brush. This is a tapered blending brush. This is made out of natural hair. I think this is the first natural hair brush I've had so far. I believe this is goat hair. And this is perfect for basically blending out the crease and outer V area. Since I do have relatively hooded eyes, and they're really small as well. This brush is my preferred brush to basically diffuse out any color, any harsh colors on my eyeshadows. I did use this on the look I did today. It's very diffused out. You can barely tell, I think, that I use cranberry and purple, because that's how I blended it out. This is a fantastic brush to do so. Definitely something I would recommend. There's a lot of dupes for this, of course, out there on the market right now. This is the only one I have like it. I think I might pick up a couple dupes per se and see whether and how they compare. But if you're looking for something on the budget, definitely check out like the Sigma dupes, the Coastal Scents dupe, the Beige Cosmetics dupes, and I believe eBay has a dupe of this as well. And then, of course, for eyeliner, this is the e.l.f. Small Angled Brush. I love this brush for both eyeliner and brows. If, let's say I'm using a brow powder, this is perfect to fill in my brows. This is also perfect for gel eyeliner. I love this brush for gel eyeliner. It gets the job done really well. It's very multitasking. And I also like to use this for, let's say I want to put eyeliner, like eyeshadow, like eyeliner on my bottom lash line, like put like eyeshadow on my bottom lash line. And I can also use this for powder eyeshadow as well. I don't think I mentioned powder eyeliner. So like when I'm using eyeshadow as an eyeliner, this is also great for that. Love. So now I'm going on to brushes that say that you really, it's not a necessity, but I think it's really nice to have. And the first brush I have here to show you is the Real Techniques Contour Brush. This is a fantastic brush if you're, say, wanting to use this to chisel out your cheekbones. It's pretty small and domed, and it's not too domed to the point where, let's say, you can't use it to blend. So I think it's a perfect mixture of it, the size, the density, and the shape. It comes in the same set as the buffing brush, so that's always a huge plus when you can get the same brush in the set. But unfortunately you can't get this alone, but I do recommend this brush for contouring. I've used a lot of bronzers with this brush, and I do think that this is a fantastic brush to just carve off your cheekbones. And of course you can also use this for like overall, like doing just general contouring, but it's a little too tapered for that. You could also use this for highlighting if you so choose. This is also really nice for that. It's a little, it does pick on a bit too much color. Normally, then what I would like, say, if I were to use a highlighter, but if you were to use this for highlight, just remember to tap off the excess on the brush, off your hands, and you should be fine by that. Next brush I have here is the setting brush. This is a fantastic brush to, let's say if you want to use a powder to set your under eye circles. If you want to use this for highlighter, this is wonderful. It gets right in the area really nicely. It's really small. It's tapered to a point, but it's not dense at all. So it's really fluffy. It doesn't pick up a lot of product, but I do find that if you're using this for setting powder underneath the eyes, you will have to tap off the excess, or maybe I just have a heavy hand. I think it might be because I have a heavy hand, but you just need, remember to just tap off the excess right before you use any product, really, just to be safe, and just dust it all over your face where you need to. For buffing up concealer on my face, I have been enjoying the Deluxe Crease brush, and I believe this was in the travel set. I'll leave an annotation or something to make sure to let you guys know where I got this from. But this is again another Real Techniques brush. This is perfect for getting basically like to buffing out my any concealer underneath my eyes, as well as any concealer on my face. I feel like this is perfect for that. It's not a good eye brush though. It's for at least for me. I have really small eyes, so all the Real Techniques eye brushes are not the best for me. But this is a beautiful brush if you want to like basically blend out your concealer and make your concealer look flawless. I have found that using a concealer brush rather than, let's say, using your fingers gives a better application as well as a better coverage rather than, let's say, if you were using your fingers. So yeah, the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. Next thing I have here to show you, this is a really nice brush here. This is the e.l.f. Small Stipple brush. This is perfect if you have, let's say, cream highlighter, cream bronzer, and it just stipples out product. It picks up product nicely, and it blends it out smoothly and effortlessly. And the brushes, this brush is pretty dense in its own right for a stipple brush. It's not flimsy at all. It's also great for picking up powder products, but it's I do prefer the e.l.f. Complexion brush a lot better. This, I have tried to use this with foundation. It works, but you have to work a lot harder considering how it's such a tiny brush and you cover such a small area, so it takes a lot more time, and I don't gravitate to using this for liquid foundations as much. For, let's see, this brush right here I like to use for concealer on just to carve out my eyebrows. And let's say like I want to make my eyebrows look a little bit more chiseled per se, and clean it up. I have a tendency of basically like having I'm not plucking all my eyebrow hairs. Like I get really lazy sometimes, so this brush is really handy to basically use concealer and try to cover up like any discoloration really that from either over plucking or from like scarring, from maybe like somehow I pluck my eyebrows out and I get a scar. This is great for just basically for pinpoint concealing on my eyebrows, and of course it's also great for pinpoint concealing on the face as well. Great for that. Also decent for picking up eyeshadow, putting detailed eyeshadow on your a small amount of eyeshadow into like the corner of your eyes. There, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's also great for that. A synthetic brush, so it's also good for liquids and creams and all that shenanigans. But I have a brush that I prefer better to use for basically picking up eyeshadow and placing it into my inner corner. And this is the MAC 228. Now, this is a pretty similar brush, so if you are looking to save money, this is a brush I'd probably recommend to you. But for me, this brush honestly is where I would gravitate towards if I were to say like use to basically get a more precise application of eyeshadow onto my inner corner of my eyes. And this brush is also great for, let's say, like doing any work underneath my eyes, underneath the lower lash line, because this brush is tiny enough and is flexible enough so that I can basically work underneath without putting way too much eye makeup underneath, which is a huge issue of me with my working on the lower lash line. I don't know if you've noticed in my tutorials or my looks is that I rarely put any makeup underneath my lower lash line because I feel sometimes it is way too overpowering on my face as well as my eyes. But this makes up the job a little bit easier, and I think this does a fantastic job, and it does have a hefty price tag to it. But if you're in a pinch, this does almost the same exact job. The accent brush, I didn't mention it the last time, oh my goodness. The accent brush almost does the exact same amount of job, but it doesn't do, it's not as good, let's say, than the 228, because the 228 has more give, so it can smudge out the lower lash line a lot better. Last but not least, if you are ever in need of a lip brush, this is the Real Techniques Detailer brush, which is, of course, comes in the same set as the contour brush and the buffing brush. This is also great for concealer, but I prefer, like, again, this is the accent brush for pinpoint concealing, but this is a fantastic lip brush. I love using this for lip brush. Let's say with the OCC lip tars, fantastic, gotta have it. In case, like, let's say if you have any lip products that you come in like a pan form and not in a lipstick tube form. And that is the long video telling you what makeup brushes I really have enjoyed. These brushes I have collected within the past, I guess year and a half, 2 years now. And I have to say that if all my brushes were to, like, if I had to rebuild my brush collection, let's say that there's a hurricane that comes and hits Florida, which happens every year, but I've been saved so far for the last, like, how many years, I don't even know now. If a hurricane comes and I lost all my makeup, these brushes are the brushes I would gravitate towards first. I wouldn't even think twice. I wouldn't buy extra brushes. These were from the 30 or so brushes I think I have now in my collection. These are the brushes I would definitely go repurchase. Highly recommend any of you guys, if you guys don't have any of these brushes, to go and go and just check them out. Check out the reviews. You know, look at tutorials using these brushes. Look at the product application. See whether or not you like them. See whether or not they're good for your face shape. You know, of course, this is my opinion. I really do stand by these brushes, though. I think these do a fantastic job. I haven't had an issue with shedding on any of my Real Techniques brushes. I have had somewhat of an issue with my e.l.f. brushes, and for some ungodly reason, unfortunately, I have a huge issue with my MAC 228 shedding. And this is after washing it a couple times. But besides that, all these brushes are really good. They've lasted for a good amount of time. I've washed them over a dozen times. They pretty much stood up really well, minus the e.l.f. brushes. The ferrule for these sometimes do fall out. But I do recommend these brushes. Please let me know what you guys think of the video, and please let me know what you guys think of the lighting as well. I really need to basically figure out what kind of lighting to do. Now that school season's about to start soon, and I need to I can't film and be late for school. Of course, I have to film as soon as I get home and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.